All right, I'm delighted to be back with my Russian partner or whatnot, but and I apologize for Team Canada beating Team Russia in the World Cup, but somebody's got to do it. So you've got a background of education, math, computer science, philosophy, which is an interesting combination. Obviously an MBA, and as you said earlier, you've advanced through IBM in business positions to now to then logistics, to now leading Inttra as the world's largest ocean logistics company. You've talked a little bit of how that your career has evolved. Tell us a little bit more about it, and in the sense of, are you at the point where this is what I always wanted to be when I grow up?
Well, I grew up in Russia at the timing when there was no notion of a free enterprise. So what I wanted to do when I was a little girl was to be a writer. Mm-hmm. And eventually I got to do it. I have to be selling books in Russia. So I know that I like being a writer, but I know I can do other things, and I like other things as well. I also wanted to be a college professor, and I started very successfully on the path, doing my PhD in mathematics in nonlinear differential equations. And with perestroika and the funding flowing out of academia, I had to make some hard choices. And this is where I found myself in marketing and sales and technical sales in IBM. And I absolutely loved it. And this is how my career started. And it also tells you that you don't know what you want to do when you grow up until you try it.
Right.
I think the definition of what I want to do when I grow up changed quite a few times in my career, as I found about things I didn't know before. MBA opened my understanding of how an enterprise works holistically. And after doing my MBA studies in Columbia universities, I wanted to do deals, and I went to run mergers and acquisitions for one of IBM groups, and it was a wonderful learning experience for me, because it allowed me to see how the strategy is made, how you can change an industry by laying out the vision right, and how you can create synergies and really make 1 + 1 = 3 out of two very different companies. And I did a lot of other things, and eventually as I grow up, I want to move on from Inttra, where I'm the chief operating officer, and run sales, marketing, product management, software development, IT operations, and service delivery, to become a CEO of a company and maybe have a few of those companies. I also, at some point in my career, learned about the company boards. We don't know much about the board early in our career and what it represents. Mm-hmm. And also, in many cases, people look at being on a board as a pinnacle of their career and go for board seats for different reasons, for visibility, for prestige, rather than for the enjoyment of running an enterprise, turning business around, steering the business in the right direction, as well as becoming a better executive by understanding how the shareholders' value translates into what you're doing and how the board members view the work of operating executives. So I was privileged to join a board early in my career. And that's another thing I want to do as I grow up. I would love to become more experienced board member. I've been on board of Sage, the top software company on London Stock Exchange, for a little bit less than 2 years. I would love to continue my board career, maybe add a US board, get a better understanding of how to be a good independent director, maybe eventually in my next life becoming a chairman or running a committee.
Why not this life? Why does it have to be the next life?
I see our professional career as several lives.
Yeah, I agree.
We're all like cats, right? We reinvent ourselves and have 9 lives.
We do, and especially in these days, we're always reinventing ourselves. And we do a lot of board advisory, actually, not just board searches, but board advisory of getting younger people ready to be on boards, because they do have a lot to offer. It's not just, if you will, the good old boys club anymore. There's a lot of diversity, obviously, and younger people are becoming more valuable for boards, and obviously women, and et cetera, et cetera. It's really opening up. Your industry is, And supply chain, since I've been involved in supply chain, especially, it's been an aggressively growing industry, technology-wise, and everything. In terms of investing in technologies, in terms of, as you said, providing value for shareholders, even and customers. What are the challenges that you find not only leading a profitable business, but dealing with global cultures, rules, regulations, personalities, etc.?
In my case, I would probably start by saying global is all I know. From the very first day in business, I worked for a global company, and I think my whole philosophy in business is based on the fact that everything in this world is global. Supply chains are global and are increasingly global. Sales are global. More important, business practices and philosophies and ideas are global. And even if your enterprise serves a particular market, the technologies, the best practices, the process innovations can come from everywhere and every different place. Going a little bit more specific, I think there are two different dimensions of being global. One is pure tactical. How do you make sure that you account for different cultures of people working for you, and that and for the different cultures of your customers, and that translates in awareness. I had a discussion with one of my employees today, and remembering who he was and who I was, I said, "This is great. Can I ask you now to translate from British understatement to plain English?" And he laughed, and he gave me a much stronger statement about something he wanted to say. In certain cultures, we overplay things, in other cultures, we underplay them. This translates into communications in marketing and sales. I would never forget being very junior marketing person at IBM headquarters and getting an honor of being in a presentation by a marketing agency showing us the ultimate symbol of standardization, the phone plug. They said, "Look at the phone plug. It's standard in every country. Everywhere people in the world will understand it." And I gathered all my courage and said, "Excuse me, but the phone plug looks very, very different in several different big markets that you're trying to service. Nobody in Russia would know what this is." So this is a visual representation. There is a much more subtle way in how you deliver your message from the stage to the press, in marketing materials, how much you put in the ad copy when it comes to marketing. What is your technique and approach and personality in sales? How you develop products. Different markets have different lengths of product cycles.
Right.
In Japan, in technology, products tend to linger for a longer time and spend more time refining the quality before they even come to market, and often skip a release or two. So I can go on and on with those examples. And of course, in supply chain and logistics, this is amplified even further because you have to deal with all kinds of labor regulations and various issues related to road specific and specifics of customs and import-export regulations. And I think that brings us to the main point. You can see it as a threat. You can see it as an opportunity. And especially in a technology business, which I'm happy to be in, new regulations, new changes is always an opportunity. It is always an opportunity to minimize disruption for your clients. Let aside the disruptions for your business. A new data privacy regulation in Europe gets all IT companies who use safe harbor provision on their toes, looking into how we can become compliant. But if we look at what we do for our clients, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing that we do. We make our clients' life easier. We help them to get innovation into their processes. That's a great chance to bring IT, to bring technology into the picture.
So does that just interrupt then? We do a lot of searches in supply chain, and as you say, we've seen incredible sophistication over the years. Not only for big companies, but companies that start off small and all of a sudden they become big even quicker these days than before. So it does take leadership, and we like to use the expression that we love the expression of what is the why of management. What is the why? How does employee how does employee engagement, as you've touched on a little bit, get involved to basically have a consistent why of all your people for the company, and your clients know your why, seems to be the heart and soul of businesses that are successful, at least that we see. It's not just about making a sale. It's not just about making money. There's got to be a deeper why. So tell us what your why is at for yourself and your team, and how has it evolved that in environments like IBM and now Inttra and in between, where there are talented people? Why is your why the reason that people come and work with you and stay with you and succeed with you?
I actually have a pretty good record of people coming and working with me again and again. And no offense to recruiters, I filled a lot of positions in my new company from my network.
No offense taken.
Some of my former peers. I think why starts with what kind of a difference do you make? In the end of the day, we all work for a reason. We all want to be challenged, and we want our work to be meaningful. And it does not matter what part of the work do you do. Back in my IBM Life Sciences days, I had a pick of the best telesales people, because I would come and see the group once, twice a year and tell them about what we do. And the mission of our team was to help scientists who develop drug treatments get access to better technology, to get drugs to the market faster. And everybody who had a relative suffering from Alzheimer's or cancer, or who was touched by any other disease, understood where their work resides. Now, these people walked the phones. They were reminding our customers about an event they signed up for. They asked if they could send materials after the event. They still knew what the mission was, and they just did their part of the mission.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's what it boils down to. In my days in civil logistics, we all worked to help our clients optimize supply chains end to end. It was a unique thing that we thought we could do, piece by piece, step by step, country by country, and client by client. And this is what we try to be a part of. And that's one of the most important things to start with. At Inttra, we work to bring IT-based innovation into very old industry, into ocean shipping. 90% of everything we wear and eat and use is shipped by ocean. It's one of the most ancient industries, and as long as bananas do not grow on the North Pole, globalization or not, things will be shipped by sea, right? Mm-hmm. There will be always things, as long as we do not produce tractors in every country or cars in every city, things will be shipped by sea. And doing this more efficiently is what we help our clients to do. That's what we all share. And when we hire people, that's what people come to do. Another thing that is extremely important is people do not just work for the businesses, they work for people. They work with people who are authentic and honest. Personally, I think people always spot when you lie. So if there is something I cannot share with them, I would rather tell them, listen, I can tell you, but I'll have to kill you. I have a right accent for that. And then I say, but here's what I can tell you, and this is what I can share right now. And people appreciate having an honest discussion about multiple things, how the company is doing, how they're doing within the company, what is happening in the clients, how that product was received, how that call did go. And I think that makes a big difference, because being honest with people, you respect people, and everybody feels working in a true notion of a team. It's a very much overused term, team. Not every group is a team, right? But people feel good about it. The third very important part to me is professional growth and the path forward.
Absolutely.
People like coming to a company where they can be challenged, because we grow through overcoming challenges, and where they can path forward professionally. Otherwise, it becomes a very short-time job.
Yeah.
We're very proud that Inttra, which celebrates 15 years anniversary this year, to have people who work for the company for 10, 15 years. Right? Think about it. Well, about 1/3 of the company has been with the company for more than 5 years, which is not so often for a software company. And that brings consistency, that brings history, that keeps intellectual power and IP in the company. Now, it means people have to have difficult tasks to solve. One of my former employees told me once, "You challenged me to do things I thought I would never be able to accomplish. And then you would go forward and help me get there, and I would feel so proud."
Yeah.
And I've never thought of myself as being a challenging manager, but that got me thinking. I was surprised by the fact that he mentioned challenge as a positive way. And I realized that what helps us grow, and everybody, in the end of the day, want to grow. Right? And that's why you ask me, and everybody else, what we want to do when we grow up. We all want to grow further and further and further.
Absolutely.
So having that path forward, having the conditions for professional development, not being blamed for mistakes, not living in fear, knowing that we can learn from any mistakes we make and move forward, that's what helps people enjoy it, and that's what people come to work for.
I think you're right on the money. You mentioned a whole lot of good things, including a safe environment for people to be able to contribute and participate. And we've done video roundtables on that on that as well. And that's why a legacy of a coach in sports, the best legacy of a coach in sports or an executive in business, is all the people that were assistant coaches or worked with them have gone to become leaders somewhere else. That's usually the best legacy. And it sounds like that's what you're doing, and it does all start with the why. So that's very cool. So just a couple of personal questions. These are short, like 1 to 2 word answers. Do you have a pet?
I used to have a very smart black cat. Unfortunately, he passed away, and with my amount of travel, my husband and I decided we'll wait till getting another one.
No 9 lives?
At home.
Didn't have 9 lives?
I think he used all 9 living with us. Quite a challenging neighborhood.
All right, well, at least he lived it to the fullest. Do you have a favorite activity or sport?
I am a very bad and extremely enthusiastic golfer. I make everyone around me look like fantastic players, and I enjoy working the green, and I enjoy doing things better than I personally did last time, and perfecting my technique. And
well, that's good. You make other people feel better. That's a good cause. They told me that my best driving was the golf cart, so that was that wasn't good for me. But do you have a favorite movie or TV show or anything like that?
It's a good question. I think I have quite a lot of good movies and books that I enjoy and like at different times of life. I think movies-wise, I like Citizen Kane for the amazing impact that it made in the history of cinema, and for the fact that this movie is so professional from the cinema critique standpoint. There's so many innovations, going back in time and use of animation and lots of other things. And yet the movie is very easy to watch, and people who have not been professional critics, so members of the families of one, who never read a book on cinema, still enjoyed watching it, right? Because the character is powerful.
Yeah, no, it's
None of the characters in this movie are perfect. They're all human. They all have flaws. And I think that's what makes it easy for us to relate to them and absorb the story. And of course, there is a Citizen Kane and Fulfilled Dreams in each one of us.
That is the perfection, that they aren't perfect. That's the perfection. And real quick, do you have favorite music and food?
No, I love cooking too much to have one favorite.
And do you have the music on while you're cooking?
No. I like concentrating on what I'm doing, but I like classical music. I like going to opera, and I am very happy to live near New York City, so I got my series for Carnegie Hall for piano recitals for this year. I'm waiting for October 26th when the first one by Denis Matsuev. is on, so I have something to look forward to.
That sounds great. This has been terrific. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.